Hello, everyone. We are back with another non Yu-Gi-Oh video because what is a consistent upload schedule anyway? Good to be back with some of these. You saw the title of the video, and we are ranking the movies that Makoto Shinkai has made throughout his career. I do this in because of two reasons. One, I just finished rewatching all the movies because they're really, really good, so they are in my head. And two, we are awaiting news of his next movie. I don't think we're going to be getting news of that till about December. And for context, if you're watching this in the future, this is being recorded and uploaded in late July 2025. So the most recent movie is Suzume, which came out about 3 years ago. And we know absolutely nothing about his next movie that is coming out. So I am just kind of ranking what we have at the moment. As you can see, there is only one row. I'm not doing any S tier, A tier, any of that because I find all of these movies enjoyable in their own way. I wouldn't really rank most of them in an S through F tier strategy anyway, because most of them would end up in A or S, so that doesn't really feel fair to be able to do that. There are enjoyable parts about all of these. Also, you can see I don't have an account with this, so enjoy the ads on your screen. I cannot get rid of them. I apologize. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get right into it. First up is She and Her Cat, which is a short film of his. This is the one I remember the least. Still enjoyable in its own ways, but I even having watched this one, I just it's not bad. It's just not as memorable as the other ones, especially as he gets better with filmmaking. Voices of a Distant Star is his first real film. She and Her Cat counts, but Voices of a Distant Star is the first big one. It's about 40 minutes, so it's a short film, but it is really nice. We follow high school, presumably middle school or high school age kids, and it's in this pseudo futuristic world. One of them gets sent on a ship really, really far away, and it becomes more and more difficult for them to communicate with each other as she gets further away. And it's nice for what it is because I am fairly certain he did this film almost entirely by himself. He drew almost every frame by himself. So the animation, of course, is older and looks a bit more rough, but the themes are really nice. What happens when that special someone that you have gets further and further away, and being able to deal with that, knowing that there is nothing you can do about it. So it's still a really good film. Next up is The Place Promised in Our Early Days. This one is, if I recall, yes, this is the one where it's an alternate future where there's a massive tower in the sky, and a portion of Japan has been taken over by what's essentially supposed to be this world's version of like a Soviet Union. And there ends up being this whole big thing with this girl's consciousness and all the rest of that. I'm not going to spoil any of these movies so that you can experience them on your own if you have not seen this. But it has to deal with aviation. These two kids, really into plane making, and there's also an obsession with the tower that comes in with that and this consciousness with the girl. I'm doing a poor job of explaining it, but that's just because I don't want to give away too much. But similarly, the themes are, what if you're chasing after somebody who's not fully there, the freedom to be able to chase what's yours, especially if you have the creativity to back that up, because they start building a, shall we call it, unique plane, but it is a highly enjoyable film if you are going to give it the chance. And just nothing against these. It's just, the quality very clearly starts to get better with all of these. I try not to let, animation and audio quality determine the full extent of these films, but that does play a factor. And of course, I'm ranking these via my own biases. There's not really a hard criteria of this, but try as I might. Next is 5 centimeters per second. This is a short film, but it kind of acts as, I believe it's three little mini episodes of different characters. It starts off with two kids in middle school learning that they are going to move away from each other, learning that they have, that usual early age crush on each other, and then having to deal with the fact that they are not going to be able to see each other again. You can see kind of a common theme going in the films so far, and then how to deal with that, because she stays closer in the I forget which cities they put them in, but he moves far away to an island nation, or to he moves far away to an island province in Japan, and she, is still pretty far away. And then there's this whole other thing with this other girl there, and then it's his adult years as well. It's I'm trying to I know it sounds strange with my explanation, but I'm trying not to give away too much by explaining too much of this away. That way you can go and see it for yourself if you have not. But similarly, how do you cope with, having to be away from that someone, about getting older, and about, just life moving on, and how to properly deal with that. This one, I don't know if I would put it above Place Promised, because that one was nice. I think I will, because again, I'm trying not to let the animation and the audio quality influence me there, but I just, I have to. Next is Children Who Chase Lost Voices. This, funny enough, I think is one of the longest films, which, funny enough, is one of the shorter entries of the book. So all of these are, I don't know if She and Her Cat or Voices of a Distant Star are light novels as well, but the rest of these are also light novels, which I have read. And funny enough, Children Who Chase Lost Voices is one of the shorter ones, and yet I believe is the longest movie. Either that or Suzume is the longest, which ends up being really, really funny. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this in front of it. I don't even have to think about that. I know we're going in order of them just getting better and better. But number one, of course, that happens as you get better with filmmaking. But number two, this film is just phenomenal. It's, again, I'm gonna have to be vague with it because I don't want to give away too much. But you start with this girl. She hears about the concept of Agartha, which is one of the versions of the underworld, and then there's just a journey going through there, and there's the usual lost family members, and there's the mysticism and drama that happens with that, and all the rest of those. She ends up having to go on the journey with one of her teachers, and there's a whole twist there that I can't give away, but it is a beautifully animated film, especially for the time that it was. The themes are really, really cool, and it does present a lot of. You can see that Shinkai kind of has a theme of, what happens when a special person in your life goes away, and you have to be able to deal with that, and then, adding in some mysticism and fantasy along with it, and it is quite the journey. It is a really nice film. Next is The Garden of Words. I don't know if I'm going to put this. I'm probably going to put it ahead of 5 centimeters per second. I don't know if I'm putting it ahead of Children Who Chase Lost Voices, because this one is really nice as well. This one is also a short film. It's only about 40 minutes or so. However, the animation and the audio quality was really, really stepped up to this. This came out at about 2013, I recall. And the themes are a lot more simple. It's a high school kid who isn't unhappy where he's at in life, but he knows what he wants to do, and he just feels confined by his current school lifestyle, and wants to be able to do more with that. He wants to be a shoemaker, and there's also one of his teachers who has gone through a situation, and there's something with her. I know I'm speaking vaguely again. I'm not trying to spoil too much of it, but there's a nice dynamic between the two of them and the states of life that they're in, and the chemistry that they play off of each other with that. And the film is just gorgeous. The animation, despite this being made in 2013, is still very well done. I would recommend looking at it, if not just for that alone. So I think I'm going to put it above Children Who Chase Lost Voices, just for those facts alone, because it's really simple. There's nothing too complex about it, and the animation is just gorgeous in and of itself. Your Name, I don't even have to think about. This is my favorite movie of all time. Not even my favorite animated movie or anime of all time. This is my favorite movie of all time. This one is just. When you hear the story about people who get addicted to this film and watch it over and over and over again, that's exactly what happened to me. This movie is phenomenal. The animation still holds up to this day. The music by Rad Wimps, just there's not a single song in here, whether it's a pop song or just a background song, that is not gorgeous. The animation is even better than Garden of Words and still holds up to this day and is beautiful. Everybody understood their assignment and they executed it phenomenally. So this follows a high school boy in Tokyo and a high school girl out in the middle of nowhere from a fictional town, which is unfortunate because it's a very beautiful scenery and I would like to go there. But sadly, it is not a town that exists. But I digress. Uh, Without giving away too much, they start switching bodies and they don't know why, and they have to figure it out. And then there's some other mysticism and themes of how do you deal with your current life circumstance going on that are at play as well. This one is just take my word for it. There's a reason it is my favorite film of all time. It is worth the watch and it is phenomenal. So that kind of spoils what I'm going to do with the rest of these. They're going to go under Your Name, but Weathering with You is only a step under Your Name. This movie is just it's as phenomenal as Your Name. I just am slightly more biased toward Your Name, but Weathering with You is such a great movie to watch as well. And fun fact, has character cameos from some characters from Your Name. So look for them as you are watching the movie. And Your Name, fun fact, features the main girl character from Garden of Words very briefly. This is started a little 3-film cameo train that Shinkai did, and he unfortunately didn't do it with Suzume, but it was funny to see it with those. But anyway, Weathering with You is also just as great. Again, I am slightly more biased toward Your Name, but Weathering with You is also phenomenal. What the magic that Shinkai captured in Your Name, he perfected in Weathering with You. With once again, everybody understood their assignment and showed up for it. Animation, beautiful. Soundtrack, gorgeous. Radwimps showed up again, and not a single song is not great. And the story is sort of similar to Your Name, although different elements. There's a high school boy and a high school girl. The boy is running away from home, and the girl is in a peculiar family situation. And it's just how do they deal with where they're at? How do they play off each other and help each other out? And then some of the mysticism going along with that. The overall premise is that it's raining really heavily in Tokyo, and she is what they call a sunshine girl that can help out with that. So how does that mysticism and the dynamics of their life play off of each other, and how do they deal with that, especially when they learn the consequences of some of those things? Again, not trying to give away too much. Hopefully that didn't give away a lot of it, but just phenomenal movie. I would recommend watching it. A lot of people have Weathering with You in front of Your Name, but I am just slightly more biased toward that, so I have to put it there. And then his most recent entry as of yet, because we are still waiting on information for his new film, but this is the most recent one so far, Suzume. This is going to be tough because it's definitely going under Your Name. I just don't know if I like Weathering with You better than that. I am inclined to say that I like Weathering with You a bit better, but Suzume is just, again, everybody understood their assignment showing up for this. The animation is going to be among the best of these because it's the most recent one. Technology's gotten better, but animation is gorgeous. The soundtrack is the one thing I don't like that they did with the soundtrack is I found out that they designed it to work best in movie theater speakers. So when you watch the movie at home or you listen to the soundtrack in your headphones or anything like that, it still sounds great, but not as good as it would in a movie theater. So unfortunately, you do have to see this one in a movie theater to get the full experience and have those type of speakers. So if you can do that, then great. If not, then there is going to be a piece of it missing, which I guess would take it down for me. So yeah, that feels comfortable. But similar themes going on here. We have high school girl who ends the mysticism is actually the one that draws her in with this because she meets this guy. I believe he's college age. She's late high school. He's early college, and he is what is called a closer because there is an entity called the Worm, which causes a bunch of natural disasters to occur over Japan, and they have to go around closing various doors in order to seal this entity away and prevent natural disasters. So the most of the movie is the journey of dealing with past traumas of these characters while also attempting to prevent natural disasters, and it is just phenomenal. And funny enough, this is one of the longer movies. The book is about the same length. So it ends up working out really nice with the runtime as well. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but a funny aspect of Garden of Words is one of the shortest of these films. Again, it's a short film that's only about 40 or so minutes, but it is the longest book. The book is almost 400 pages, and it is easily longer than any other of the light novels that go on here. So I just found that really, really funny. If you are someone who likes to read the books as well, I would highly recommend reading all of these books if you can, but especially The Garden of Words, because the Garden of Words novel adds so much more to it. And I'm not even just talking about they go into more detail than what they are able to in the movie. I mean, there are entire scenes and character arcs that they just could not put in the movie. I mean, you get stories from, one of the side bullies, from one of the main character's brothers, from another one of the teachers that you don't see much of in the film. There is so much content added into this book, so I would highly recommend reading that if you are going to watch it. But anyway, that is all of the films, and yeah, I don't think I would change any of these. I mean, just there's a reason that Your Name is my favorite movie of all time, and the rest of these are just again, there's nothing I dislike about any of these. I would watch these over and over again as I have, and I'm probably going to do again. But other than that, I think that's all I have. I'd recommend reading the books for these as well if you have time. But if not, thank you for watching and hope you have a good rest of the day.